All right. Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday, and welcome back to the KSP Noobstream. Michael, good to see you, friend, and Senor Hepulio, welcome back to the channel. Glad to have you guys here. Let's go ahead and dive in. So last time, through some fits and starts, we were able to get an orbiter, a surveying orbiter, around Minmus and take a basic scan of the resource locations on that planet. So, I think we need to do a little bit of cleanup here. Let's go into the tracking station and take a look at what we've got. So, we have the Science Station 1. That's in orbit around Minmus still. And we have Surveyor 1 in its polar orbit. And we've got a bunch of debris here. So, let's go ahead and recover these if we can. This last piece, I'm pretty sure there's no Kerbals in here, but let's double check. Yeah, this is the remainder of the interstage rocket here. So, back to the tracking station. We can destroy this. Clean things up. And now we're just left with our science station and our surveyor, so we're good there. If we switch focus to Minmus and turn on the ore allocation, we can get a good sense for where things are. Now, our percentage here is 5.3, and most of the planet has a 90% concentration of that 5.3% concentration. So we sort of said we were going to look at maybe landing here, since it's nice and flat. The poles would also maybe be good, since they'll have plenty of sunlight for most of the orbit. But basically, I think we'll probably start here. And so what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to get some kind of rover down here with a big tank and a drill that can drill up the ore and convert it into fuel. And then it's going to need to have some sort of ability to connect to a landing rocket to refill it, and then launch that rocket up to orbit to refill an actual vessel. So, for today, what we're going to get started with is we're going to go into the spaceplane hangar and try to look at building some kind of rover that can drill up some ore and convert it to fuel. So we'll do a bunch of testing here on the surface, and then once we have something that seems like it would work, we'll send it up and we'll get it down to Minmus and start producing ore. So I think to start here, we're going to start actually with a fuel tank. And I'm not sure which one we want to work with. So this can hold 180 fuel. This can hold, what? 360. I don't think we want to work with the Rocco Max. I think they're too big. So the question is, do we work with something like this? Maybe we start with an FL-T800 fuel tank. Let's just kind of throw this on there. And let's empty it out. So we'll get it completely empty of oxidizer and liquid fuel. And we'll build this into a kind of a rover somehow. I'm not exactly sure how, but we'll do it. So let's get some basic wheels on it, I suppose. So here's the S1, here's the S2. I think we want the S1 here. The Rovemax model M1, sorry. After years of outcry against the lack of proper powered wheels, a small startup company named Kerbal Motion was founded and delivered just what the public wanted. The Rovemax Model 1 powered rover wheel. So it's got a brake torque of 2 kilonewtons, a motor max speed of 34 meters per second. Requires 2.5 electric charge per second, so we'll have to keep that in mind. I think I'm going to have 6 of these, so that will be 15 charge per second that we need to provide to the rover, as it were. So we'll keep that in mind. Plus, the drill's going to require some electric charge. We're going to need some battery packs and solar panels on this thing for sure. But let's go ahead and get started, kind of just popping some things on here. Now, if we turn this way, I think this is how we want to do the attachment. But we'd like this to be a little bit lower down, right? That's a little bit close to the surface, so we might need some kind of struts on it. And we probably want to bring it in, or maybe we can just do this by offsetting it. Let's try just kind of offsetting it a little bit. Now, I do want to use snap here, because I'd like the other wheels to be on the same general location. Let's move this in like this. That's a little bit lower. Can we bring it down? Yeah, something like that looks okay. Let's bring it in by 1. Okay, so that's kind of a good start. Maybe even lower? Something like that. That looks pretty good. Okay, let's get a couple more of these going. So we'll set 1 in the middle. I'm having trouble, there we go. We'll set 1 in the middle. And then we'll offset those the same way. Michael says, not sure if you know, from Minmus to Kerbin cost me about 280 dV on an equatorial path counterclockwise. I added prograde away from Kerbin and made it an orbital loop back. Yeah, so last night off stream, I went in, I did some cool stuff too. That's Minmus to Kerbin 280 dV. Prograde away from Kerbin and made it an orbital loop back. Okay, that's pretty solid. Last night I did manage to get a gravity assist going. I used the moon to get out to Minmus and saved a couple hundred dV on that trip, which was nice. I basically was able to get my plane change and some acceleration for free and saved somewhere between 300 and 400 dV on the trip. So it was fiddly. I did have to kind of play with it for a while to figure it out, but I did get it in the end, and we'll try and do that on here. Let's offset this again. That looks right, and then bring it down. There we go. That looks nice and sturdy. And let's do one more here. At the back edge. Looking pretty good here. Okay, so there is our... there are our wheels. Maybe we'll move this in just one more. There we go. That looks pretty good, right? So there's the basics. There's our rover wheels set up. Let's see what we need here. So we need 15 charge per second on this. Let's put a seat on it at the front. Let's turn off symmetry with Shift X. And let's put a seat right there for the driver. Let's offset that a bit. For this one, we'll turn the snap off so we can get it kind of exactly the way we want it. That looks good. We'll move it back just a skosh. Okay, that looks good. So our driver will sit here at the front and navigate this beast. And then we probably want just a line of solar panels here. Let's take a look at maybe some like an electric charge pack as well. So a battery. These are going to take 15 charge per second. So what does this hold? This holds 200. This would give us, what, 10, 13 seconds of driving before it was drained. Plus, we're gonna need the drill, which is going to use more, and some sort of holding tank. Plus, we're going to need a connector on the front here somehow to be able to connect up to another vessel. Put a massive engine on the back of that and strap Jeb to the chair. Yeah, okay. Let's try that. That sounds fun. So this is going to be a drilling rover. So what do we name it? It's going to violate the Earth. Let's see, it's going to plunge it for resources. The Reaper Rover Mark 1. Sure, let's save that. I think we go for a big battery here. Maybe now I don't want to offset the center of mass too much. What happens if I throw this on the back here? That shifts the center of mass a little bit. but not too much. So that should be okay. But hold on, before we get into building the actual rover, let's use Michael's idea. Let's let's put a badass engine on here. What's our most powerful engine? Probably the mainsail, right? Yeah, 1,379 kilonewtons of force. I don't think that will tip over. That's too much power. But let's see, maybe a Reliant or a Skipper. Yeah, a Skipper should do the trick here. No, that's still too big. I guess we'll go with a Reliant. Yeah, let's try it. Let's launch it. We could crew it, right? Let's throw Jeb in there and give it a shot. All right, Jeb. Time for a test drive. Let's see how you do. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Z. Oh, it has no fuel. I took all the fuel out. Good luck, buddy. Let's see what happens. I think he's going to go skipping across the water here. I'm actually going to throttle up slowly just because I think if I full blast it... Well, I guess let's see what happens if I full blast it. Here he goes. Well, that's something. All right, that was fun. Let's see what happens if I try to control it a little bit more. Actually, you know what we could do? If we hold on, let's revert this to the spaceplane hangar. Let's put one control surface on it to keep it pushed down to the ground. Let's put something like this. No, that's too big. What's the smallest wing surface we have? An Elevon 1? Yeah, we could just kind of put this on here like this. Right. And then we deploy it like that. I guess maybe that'll push it down into the ground like a spoiler. Let's put it back here. And let's try that. Let's deploy it. Sure. Let's put it on the back like a spoiler and see what that does. Hey, Bob Schwan, welcome back to the channel. Larry Net, welcome to the channel. And Senor Hepulio, yes, this is going to be a rover, but we're playing around with it a little bit first. Oh, no, okay. Still no good. Revert flight. Maybe it does need to be in the middle a bit. Let's move it back here. Back to the center of mass. And, yeah, right over the center of mass. We'll just try and keep the rover pushed down onto the ground as we accelerate. Is that right? Okay. Let's try this. So what happens if how do I get the aerodynamic overlay while I'm out here in flight and not in the display staging, docking mode? Wait, there's a docking mode? Oh my God, there's a docking mode. I never used this. I should have used this. Okay. How do I see the maneuver mode, toggle map? I thought there was a way to see the aerodynamic overlay out here, but I don't know how to do it. Well, this is deployed, right? Yes, this is deployed. All right, let's try it. Let's see if it keeps it pushed down. Oh yeah, he's going farther. He's going farther. Oh. He didn't make it to the end of the runway. We don't have enough downward force, I guess. Goodbye, Jeb. Revert to spaceplane hangar. Okay. F12 or F11? SAS to see the aerodynamic overlay. Oh, okay. That's interesting. So is this control surface not enough? Let's run that. Let's run that test again and see if we can get that overlay in place. When you were out sick the day they explained how to use the docking system. Temperature overlay. Aerodynamic forces overlay. Okay. So I see drag from, and yeah, you know what? Hold on. Revert flight. Revert to launch. I did see the yellow line from this thing, but it was angled like that way. So maybe we don't want it deployed. Let's undeploy it and try this again. So that yellow line from this winglet thing, or this control surface, should be pointing straight down. It is, but it's not strong enough. Okay. Let's, how do I have him bail out, how do I have him bail out, with his parachute? I guess he's not high enough. You don't need the rockets. You already have a motor. Oh yes, I know. I know we don't need the rockets. This is more about having some fun before we get in here. Let's nose cone. You can use wings instead of control surfaces. Okay. So let's just try something like this. Wing connector type E. I guess we use symmetry here. Do something like that. Let's see what, maybe that, I wanted to push it down is the thing. So how do I get it to push down? I would have to angle these, right? Or rotate them. Yeah, let's rotate these. So let's rotate them like that, and hopefully that pushes the craft down. Sure, let's give this a try. They have a small problem lift, so we're going to angle them down and see what this does. Let's turn this on again. Yeah, there we go. It's pushing it down into the ground now. So now he's going to get a lot faster, or... Oh, we blew a wing. Okay, that's enough messing around. What in the hell is that abomination you're building? Oh my god, no way, yeah. You need to angle the other way. No, it was pushing it down. We don't want it to lift. We want it to keep pushing it down. But we're done with this anyway. That was a fun little exercise, but we're gonna go back to actually building this thing now. Okay, so let's actually do a test with just the engines here, or the motors. Oh, we have no electricity, so we won't be able to drive this at all. Let's revert flight to spaceplane hangar. Okay. So these wheels are taking 2.5 electric charge per second each. So we need to provide at least 15 units of electric charge. So we can do that with, we can throw a battery pack on the back. So we can get at least something going. And then we can put some solar panels on here. So if we take a look at the solar panels... one of these provides... No, that's the packs. One of these provides 0.3 per second. So we would need... What? We would need a lot. 10 of these would be 3. We'd need 50 of these. That's not going to do it. This might be helpful. This provides 2.8, so we need 6 of these. Can we squeeze 6 of these on here? Let's put snapping back on. And let's get this right up behind Jeb for the first one. That's too far. Can we get 6 of these going on here? I don't think it's long enough. So 1, 2, 3. We can only really fit 4 of these. So it'll slowly drain the battery as we drive it, would be the problem. Because these things are hungry. But let's see what this looks like. This at least gives us the ability to kind of get going. Oh, wait. Solar panel and recharger. See that cylinder lander can. Go to it and click the droplet. The color, it's white. I thought I saw you have an ECU type device that can technically control the drill. Can you make this unmanned to auto mine the fuel? I could, but what I've read is that having an engineer actually improves the fuel output. All right, so anyway, our brakes are off. Let's drive around a little bit and see how this thing handles. Okay, so we can get up a good amount of speed here. Let's see what turning is like. Yeah, it's got pretty decent stability for turns. It's full at the moment, though. But we can get up a good head of speed here. So we can drive around on the moon. On Minmus. Of course, it'll handle differently in the microgravity. Let's check the brakes. Not bad, not bad. Okay. Let's revert back and let's take all the fuel out and see how it handles when it's empty. Go to the white cylinder lander can and click the droplet. It will become a rover. Yes, yes, I've seen that before. But remember, what we're trying to build here is a rover that can be used to drill up ore and then convert it to fuel. So we don't really... Okay, so this is pretty... This is a little... We could use a reaction wheel here. He died. Revert displacement hanger. We could use a reaction wheel of sorts here to try and keep the craft steady. Can we, if we lift it up a bit, can we throw one under here, like a small reaction wheel? Inline stabilizer. That's too big. What about the little one? Maybe just a little one down here. I don't know if we can attach it radially, though. Yeah, it doesn't seem like we can. So if we go to structural, or no, coupling, there's some kind of a radial thing. Maybe we use a radial decoupler here. So we stick this to the underside. Kind of in the middle. Where's our center of mass? We stick this to the underside in the middle. Like that. Is that right? And then can we attach our little small inline reaction wheel to this? Huh. No, it doesn't seem like it. This is not attaching well. Did you guys watch KSP2 gameplay videos? Michael says, widen the wheelbase, maybe put girder through the fuel can. Yeah, good ideas. I mean, we can tap a reaction wheel on the back. Or maybe... What if we use a trick here? What if we use... Can I attach one of these to... this? No. So there's got to be some radial thing that I can attach something to. Let's save and continue. Let's go look in our science R&D. I could have sworn there was something... Advanced metalwork, modular girder segment, composites. There was something, there's a structural panel. I thought there was some sort of radial attachment port somewhere. I thought we would have it unlocked already, to be honest. Aerodynamics, supersonic flight. Advanced construction, stack separator. Yeah, I thought there was something that looks like a docking port but isn't. Yeah, the BZ52 radial attachment port. This is what I'm looking for, but we already own this. Found behind the Clampotron factory. Originally a defective Clampotron docking port, engineers soon discovered it had great potential as a structural element. So we do have that. The BZ something something. You can set only the front wheel to steer. Yeah, that's good. It's with the docking ports. The radial thing is on structural. The BZ, there it is, the BZ52 radial attachment point. All right, so let's get in under here, and let's stick this on there, right under the center of mass. There we go. And now, command and control, we can put our small inline reaction wheel, we can attach that right there. Okay, that looks good. We might need that slot for the drill, but let's see. Let's go ahead and let's disable steering on these parts. Disable the steering there, and disable the steering there. Okay. And then we can also, the other thing we can do is if we look at friction control, we can increase the friction control on the rear wheels. So these grip the road harder and are less likely to spin. So let's just bump those up to 1.5. And there we go. Let's try driving this around a bit. I have an idea. Build a very strong rover and use robotic parts to build a train with the fuel tank behind. Interesting. Well, I'm gonna keep things relatively simple for this first attempt. We're not gonna get too complicated because simpler is easier to understand and more reliable for me. Let's drive this thing a little bit more. Let's turn on SAS and let's start steering. Yeah, see? SAS is helping us stabilize here. The reaction wheel is keeping us from spinning out too much. Come on. You can get it, you can get it. Tipped over. Okay, so in the event that I do tip over, how do I fix it? I guess I could put some RCS on this thing. Or, you know what? I've actually seen a trick. Let's revert flight here. If we... Maybe we just pull them out just a shade so it's a little bit more stable. Spaceman, welcome back to the channel. Good to see you again. Not sure about that. I'm not sure that that reaction wheel is going to stay there. We could turn this into 2 tanks instead of the 1. So we could redesign it with a reaction wheel in the middle. Actually, maybe that's the way to go, because this is the FLT 800, so maybe we'll use 2 400s instead. Okay, so let's try that. Let's rebuild this with the reaction wheel and the battery in the middle. Let's just do a new craft here. Save and continue. Okay, so we will get a... I think we'll get an advanced inline stabilizer, and then we'll get the... Maybe we'll get 2 of these battery packs here, 1 on either side. And then we'll get our fuel tanks. We'll use the 400 this time. Okay. So there we go. Now we have control and more energy, right? Let's get our wheels on here. So let's do... 1, 2, and 3, and then we'll position these. Okay, so let's move these to the back. Let's move these to the front. Leave these in the middle. And then let's go to our move part, and let's offset these all a little bit. Let's bring these down. Let's bring these down. And maybe we won't push them in quite so far. We'll leave them a little bit wider to give us more stability. Let's bring these down. There we go. That looks pretty good. Let's disable steering on the back set. Disable steering. Disable steering. And we'll bump up the friction control here just a bit. 1.5. Okay. Then we'll put on our command chair up here at the front. Let's turn symmetry off for the moment. Let's move that back just a little bit. Let's offset this. That's better. Okay. Let's throw our solar panels back on. And let's see. We want them like this. And you know what? Now we can fit 5 of these, so that's good. Okay. Let's try this. We'll rename this as the, what did I call it? The, was it the Reaper Rover? Let's overwrite that. There we go. Okay. Let's crew this up and give this a shot. Oh, and let's take all the fuel out. Let's throw Jeb in, save, and launch. Okay. Driller rover that can carry fuel load. There's actually structural fuselage for this instead of fuel tanks. He wants fuel. He's missing fuel. He's mining fuel. He's doing this with tanks because he's making a fuel mining rover. Yeah. So the idea is that this thing is going to go down to the surface, mine all the fuel, convert it, or mine all the ore, convert it to fuel in place, and then drive somewhere and I don't know, load it into a ship or a docking station on the surface that can then refuel other ships. That's the idea, anyway. Let's try driving this around a bit. Let's see how it handles. Let's turn SAS on. So yeah, 22 meters per second. And it's not really... So we can still flip it if we try to go too fast. We can still flip it. But as long as we're careful, should be able to get a good head of speed up and kind of drive around. So 20 meters per second. And with gentle turns... Actually, you know what? Hold on. Let's try the brakes here. What we can do is if we turn... Isn't there a way you can limit the steering? Friction control, steering adjust. Steering angle limiter. Yeah, let's turn this way down. Let's go to like 7.05. And now let's see what that does. So it's still very responsive. Hold on. Steering angle limiter 1.5. Yeah, see, if I do that, I actually have a hard time. I really have to try to crash it. So that's actually handy. Let's come in and do that again. Steering adjust down to 1 and steering response down to 1. Now let's try it. So I could still flip it if I wanted, but it's much easier to kind of control here. Or it's much more difficult to flip it now. This is, I mean, 20 meters per second is great. I don't know if we'll actually get that on the moon. But all right, so this is a pretty good start, I think, for our rover. Now we got to figure out ore tanks, the drill, heat dissipation, and a converter. So we got to fit more stuff on here. Let's revert back to the spaceplane hangar, and let's lock in our change to the steering. So steering control, let's lock this down to 1 and put this at 1 as well. Let's save that. So now we need an ore container. I don't actually know where that is. 400 subscribers. Let's go. Almost. Yeah, I'm excited, man. That's really cool. I'll have to think of something to do when we get to 500 if we get there. But you know, that's something like 100 subscribers since I started, because I had a bunch that kind of flowed in. 150, 200, something like that. Actually, if I think back, I think I had 180 subscribers left over from my old days as a Twitch streamer. So 350 or 397. Yeah, that's almost 100 subscribers since I started. That's really great for a month. So maybe another month, maybe by the end of March, we'll hit 500 subs, and I'll have to figure out something special to do. Anyway, it's really fun having you guys in here in the stream with me, so I appreciate that. Shin-chan is a life. Hello, welcome to the channel. Can you limit the speed? I don't know. I think so. We have traction control, steering adjust, motor enabled. I don't think so. These wheels have a max. If you go to landing, they have a max speed of 34 meters per second, but I don't think there's a way to limit it. We'll just have to drive carefully, and if it flips and blows up, you know, that's what quick saves are for. Okay, so where's the ore tank? Is there drain valve, survey scanner, surface scanning module? Huh, okay. Would it be under payload, perhaps? Or maybe we haven't unlocked it. Let's save this and go see if we have to unlock something. All right, so unmanned tech, heavy landing, advanced motors, advanced science tech, convertotron. I think we need this. Drillomatic Junior, convertotron, drillomatic mining excavator, radial holding tank for storing raw materials or possibly spare snacks, small holding tank, and gravioli detector. I don't know what this is, but okay, so it looks like we need this. Advanced science tech. Ion propulsion, unmanned tech, automation, drone core, fuel cell array. Okay, all this is interesting, but we need the advanced tech, so we actually have to upgrade our R&D center first. So let's do that. 1.7 million. Good lord. That's expensive. Okay, there we go. So research and development is fully operational and fully upgraded. Let's go back in and get that tech. Advanced science tech. Okay. So we're looking for convertotron and holding tanks. There we go. Let's go back to the SPH. How are you going to send the fuel to the station? Yeah, we're going to need a docking port as well. Although, Heponio told me I can actually use... Where are the fuel ducts? This is a cargo part. So the external fuel duct is a cargo part that can be placed inside inventories. So if my understanding is correct, we could put this on a Kerbal, and he could wander up to the outside of this and like connect a fuel duct to another ship. I actually want to try that and see if that works. Let's actually try that. Let's put a ship on the landing pad. What do we have at the moment? Well, hell. Let's just make something stupid. Let's go with just a ship that's just a fuel tank. Sure, let's put a Rocco Max out there. We'll call this Fuel Transfer Tester Mark 1. Sure. Let's save that and let's launch it. Okay. So here's our fuel tank on the launch pad, right? Okay. Now let's go to the Space Center. So that should still be there. Right? Yes, the Fuel Transfer Tester Mark 1 is on the launch pad. Let's go back to the spaceplane hangar. And let's load up the Reaper. And let's change Jeb's inventory. Let's put... Oh, no. It probably has to be an engineer. Let's put Bill in. And let's go to his cargo. Let's get rid of his parachute, because he would never need that. And if we go to fuel tanks, can we put a fuel duct in there? We can, if we get rid of his backpack. So otherwise, it's too much weight. But we can give him one of these. Interesting. So let's launch like that and see if Bill can then connect these two up. Lol, no. Nowhere near how it works. Yes, Radu. Ha, I tested it. Dude, no. Well, it'll only take a few minutes. Let's give it a try here. We are slowly draining our battery, but that's okay. All right, let's get down to the launch pad and see if Bill can connect these two tanks. Transfers fuel from two tanks from one tank to another. Yeah, so this fuselage here, this is a tank. The rover is a tank. So the idea is we generate fuel with the rover and then drive somewhere and use that fuel strut and load that way rather than trying to mess around with docking ports. I'm curious to see if this works. Now, we can go a little bit faster here. Where is the... We want to get on this road over here. Okay, let's speed up a bit. 20 meters per second. Not too bad. Okay. We'll head out here and brake a bit with the B key. And do our turn. Slowly and carefully. Oh, I should turn SAS on. Oh, yeah. So without a pilot, we can't use SAS. So that's an interesting challenge. We could put an auto SAS module on here, though. There's a little helper part you can build that turns an engineer into a pilot. All right, let's keep driving. Let's get to the launch pad and see whether Bill can do something with this part. I don't know exactly how it would work, but let's try it. You can also use that fuel cell, transform liquid fuel into electricity. It's a nice backup for when it goes dark. Okay. All right. Let's go out to the tester out here. So we'll park right next to it and we'll hop out with Bill and see if we can figure this out. So assuming we had fuel in here and like very little in there, could we do a transfer? This is really interesting to me. We don't want to be going too fast, although these wheels are a great deal stronger than the other ones we kind of tried. Okay, oops. Okay, hold on. There's a little rut here that we got stuck in. Okay, this looks better. Okay, so if we drive up right next to it, right? Oops, careful, careful. Okay, let's toggle the brakes. Let's have Bill do... How do I get him off the chair here? How do I AVA him? It's not letting me AVA him. How would this work? Oh, leave seat. Okay. So now he's left the seat. Now what do we do? How do we use this thing? Cargo part, fuel line. Okay. So, Hapulio, can you give me some guidance here? What do I do to actually use this thing now that I'm here? He's going to drain one tank. You can also use... that's a nice backup when it goes dark. Don't go 20 meters per second. I am a genius. B? The B key? Click B. Click B. Aim camera. Fuel line, flow direction towards second point. So, okay, so if I click this item and then I press the B key, nothing is happening. Click B, now click I. Oh, okay, hold on. So I for inventory, okay. All right, so I don't right click on him. I'm just kind of, while I'm controlling him, I press the I key. That brings up this inventory, got it. Center of mass overlay. Okay, this looks good. Let's toggle snap here. And then... Oh, look at that! Is he in the way? Can he not do it? Or is it too long? So I can put it on the side of this ship. Huh. For some reason it won't connect to the other ship. Wrong way, you need to wait. Wrong way, you. You're putting it the wrong way. No, it flows from the first place to the second place. So assume that this is full of fuel and this is empty. We definitely want to connect from the rover, which we've mined up ore and converted it to fuel, and here's our empty ship. So we want to now put the fuel. See, the arrows are going towards the second place. So this is the way I want to connect it. Do I move him over here, maybe? I hate YouTube. Why does resolution change to 144? Okay. The tank is empty. Your rocket is full. So he won't connect it because of that? No, I can't connect it the other way either. Are they too far? So he'll do the first connection, but I can't seem to get him to get the second one in. So he'll do that. Maybe it's because it's a different vessel. You need to wait to construct. Okay, so I'll just I'll just sit here and wait. Does he do something else? I love that he pulls out a little welder. Where did you have that? Look at this. He has a little K5 laser welder that he pulled out of his pocket space somehow. You need to wait to construct or try to press B. Okay, so I do that, and then I hit B or U. Oh, he's got a little flashlight. Look at that. Okay. I'm not sure what's going on here. It's not, I can take it off. Center mass overlay. Let's put it here. And what happens if I connect this strut to the wheel? Will he finish it? Or if I go like this? Maybe if I pull it back here to the other tank? No, he won't do that. So you guys see what I'm trying to do, right? I mean, Or try press, you need to wait to construct, or try press B, claw. I tested it and it worked perfectly. What does claw mean, Larry? Attached to side, not middle. Okay. I don't think you would need two. Can I... There's no other interactions here with this object. So he'll attach it there. I'm just not sure what's going on here. He won't connect from one ship to another. Okay, well, I'm not sure. You're almost there. The grab thing or docking ports, try to use two. He can only carry one. He can't carry two. Let me do a quick Google search here. So KSP fuel duct between ships. Ava build a fuel line between two ships. Possible to build a fuel pump without docking. You can use a claw. Sending small fuel tanks, attaching them to your vessel would work too. I think you can do it with the stock fuel pumps. The stock fuel ducts won't connect in Ava construction mode between two undocked vessels. Yeah, it's saying you can't do this. Is there an engineer's kit? Absolutely, it's connected, just not appearing like... Oh. Fuel lines only on one ship, or just restart the game so you can use docking parts. There's no way you're going to be able to build fuel lines between two vehicles which are not physically connected. The game engine is not going to understand that because of the physics of the fuel lines. It could be wrong. Okay. The game shows a preview of the part and the Kerbal starts to build it. It just never finishes. Okay, guys, I don't think we can do this. without docking them. So that's fine. We can still make we can put a docking port on here. What I am curious is whether we could have him. Yeah, see, he can have it attached to itself, but he can't do it between two ships. Okay, well, it was an interesting experiment. Let's revert the flight. Revert to spaceplane hangar. Okay. You figured out. See if you can do a ground level dock. Yeah, okay. Let's try that, actually. Let's try that. So, slightly above ground level. Let's throw a docking port on here. And try that again. The Clampotron Docking Port Junior. Maybe this is the way to go here. Now, why is that? Oh, that's the wrong size. We'll use the full-size docking port. Well, that doesn't want to snap either. Why is that not docking? It's not snapping here. It doesn't consider that a valid place to snap in, or... Hang on. Maybe I'm just looking at it the wrong way. There we go. That does it. Okay. So there's the docking port. Let's save that. Let's go out to the VAB. Let's recover this. And let's edit this now. So assuming, again, that we make something more useful. Where's the thing I just made? Fuel transfer tester Mark 1. Let's load this up. Okay. And let's throw a docking port on here. Coupling Clampotron. So the problem is getting the height right? So it's a little bit off the ground. It's something like that, I suppose. Let's save it and launch that. Hold Alt. Alt. Oh, yeah. Alt to make the part snap the right way. Yeah, okay. There's a type of docking port called grabber or claw. You don't need another docking port to use it, and you can use it at any angle. Okay, we'll check that out in a minute. I do want to take a look at this. So let's see if we can get the rover to dock with this guy. Let's go back to the Space Center. And let's load up our rover in the SPH and see whether or not... Oh, I'll tell you what else I want to do. Let's load up the rover, the Reaper rover. Let's load this. Okay. And we've got Bill here. And let's look at his cargo. He's been reset. That's annoying. But I do want to do... If we go to Command and Control... Yes, the CHJ3 fly-by-wire avionics hub. This is what I wanted. Okay. So we're going to throw this on here somewhere. I guess we'll kind of throw it on here on the back for now. So this is going to let Bill, who's an engineer, act as if he's a pilot. So this should let him use SAS. Let's save that and launch this. Okay, so here's Bill, who's an engineer. And now we can turn SAS on, and we have all these lovely controls. Because the fly-by-wire lets you, like, acts like a level 2 pilot or a level 3 pilot. As long as you have a connection, although I don't know why. Oh, I guess you don't even need a connection. But it can do some stuff for us. So we can't plot maneuvers, I guess, but it can do things like maintain prograde or what have you. So, all right, let's drive back to the launch pad here with our work-in-progress rover and see if we can dock and connect with this docker thing. If not, I'll try the other thing that Hepulio just mentioned, which is the grabber or claw. Larry says you don't have the claw yet. Yes, but we do have something like 11,000 science, so we can get it if we want it. All right, let's get there a little bit faster. Let's push this baby up. 25 meters per second. You love to see it. We haven't even gotten into the ore processing yet. I'm just kind of working out the basic logistics of can we connect this thing up, right? Turns pretty well. Yeah, it turns pretty well. Okay, let's get over to the hangar, or the launch pad. And let's see if we can dock. I can also try this docking mode thing for the first time. Let's turn all of our lights on. We don't have any, right? Because this is a fake vessel. Let's brake a little bit. And get our turn on. Okay, looks good. Let's get up onto this thing. Head towards the runway. We should consider, if we have room, we should consider throwing some lights on the front when we build our final build. How are we doing for charge here? It's doing pretty well. It charges up pretty fast. Okay. Slow down a bit. All right. So we're going to see whether or not this vessel can dock. Let's turn on docking mode. We'll set this as our target. And then turn on docking mode. Now, how does this work? Oh, now I can't drive. Okay, let's turn off docking mode. And I guess we just kind of do it manually. I lost my ability to control. Let's just kind of get in there. It's too high. It's too tall. Okay, let's back up here. And let's set our brakes. And let's pull out the... Let's recover the tester vehicle. The nice thing about this tester vehicle is that... let's recover that. Once we get this working, we have a model to figure out what the height of the docking port should be. Are the wheels turning or the reaction wheel? Yeah, so I'm not sure what happened there, but in docking mode, the wheels stopped responding. Let's load up the fuel transfer tester. And we need to move this a little bit higher. So let's use the offset. And let's pull this up like that. Maybe one like that. Sure. Let's save that and launch that. Clear the launch pad and proceed. Oh, it won't let me... Okay. That sucks. Okay, so we gotta drive out there again. So that's a little bit higher up now. Bye. Good whatever it is in your time zone. All right, Spaceman, take care. It's morning here. Emily, welcome back to the channel. We're trying to build a mining rover that can go to the surface of a planet and mine ore and turn it into fuel. Just move him off the platform. Oh yeah, that would have been the better. That would have been the better way to do it. You're right. There we go. Here in Brazil, it's afternoon. Launch from VAB. I don't think you can. It's all right. We'll remember your suggestion. We'll just move him off the launch pad next time if we have to try this again. Let's get a move on here. Get a good head of speed going. 30 meters per second. Very nice for a rover. These new wheels are great. And this empty fuel tank actually provides a surprisingly good fuselage for the rover. I love that he's got the little chair here where he's just like sitting on top of a modified fuel tank with wheels. Hey man, if it works, right? That's KSP. Okay, don't flip the rover. Don't fear the reaver and don't flip the rover. Don't flip the reaper, not the reaver. Don't fear the reaper. Man, my pop culture reference game is off point today. Flip the rover. We did some testing earlier with a rocket engine on the back, and we did flip it quite a few times. May need to add deployable ladder in the front. For the engineer to get on and off, you mean? Okay, here we go. So I'll try this one more time. If I go into docking mode and I press... So you see how it's moving like left, right, up, and down? It's trying to control RCS that doesn't exist on this craft. So it doesn't... So wait a minute. Forward, backward would be what? H and N? Well, hell, it docked. That's something. Yeah, so we do have fuel transfer capability here. So we have a Rocco Max fuel tank. Are we docked? So for some reason the Rocco Max is not showing its fuel contents because it should be full. Not sure what that's about. Let's undock here. Wait, where's the undock button? Clampotron docking. Are we docked? Let me turn docking mode off. Easing in progress. Oh, there we go. Now, okay, so it's because I was still in docking mode, I think. So now that we're docked, we could transfer fuel. Yeah, we can pull out of this one or push it in from the other one. So this vessel can hold up to 180, and a 180 liquid fuel and 220 oxidizer. So how many would it take? It would take almost 10 runs to completely fill up one of these Rocco Max fuel tanks. But what I'm thinking is we have something like this be a surface station, so there would be like another port on top, perhaps, or some other way for landing vessels to connect onto here. And so we have a station, we have a fuel station on the surface, which is like a big tank like this, right? And then the rover drives around, it fills up, it comes over here, pops it in here, does that like 10 times, I guess. And then fills this up. And then when the vessels come in, so it would be a lot of work, actually, now that I think about it. May need to add deployable ladder just in case. On the moon will not be that smooth because of the rocks and bumps. Docking puts you in RCS. Yeah, okay. IJKL. Also, you should use a liquid fuel tank instead of one with oxidizer because it holds more fuel. Yeah, you aren't making oxidizer. No, I have to make both. I have to make both liquid fuel and oxidizer. So the Convertotron would, we'll get there, but you need both to fly a jet. So this thing would definitely need both. Now the question is, should we build a larger version of this rover that uses this fuel tank instead of this little dinky one, right? This is kind of the proof of concept, but it doesn't hold that much. Oh, I guess it holds 360 fuel, not 180, because there's a second tank. So I could also fill this one, right? Yeah, okay. So then to fill up one of these 360, 720, 1440. So it would take 4 complete trips to fill one of these from one of these. So does it make more sense to build a bigger one? Do I use a... But then I really wouldn't even be able to launch it. I wouldn't know how to get it into orbit. So we can start with something like this. We can do like four trips with this. We'll fill up a Rocco Max, right? So we plant this on the surface of the planet with another docking port on top. And then theoretically, we try to figure out how would you... We'd need to have some kind of way to launch this to orbit after we filled it up. You can't. You can only produce liquid fuel. Make a platform in the rear and stand up the large tank on the back. Instead of a rover, build a stationary base. Can you drive the rover when it's full safely? Yes, I can. We've already actually tested that. So let me undock now. Undock. And now with the rover full, we can back out here down the runway and then drive it around. So we've got the rover full of fuel now, right? So let's turn it around. It's a little bit slower to turn when it's full. That's interesting. I did limit the wheel authority, or the I did limit the maybe we need to turn this up a little bit. Steering angle limiter to 2. Maybe 1.5. Yeah, that's more drivable. Okay, so 2 and 1.5. But anyway, here's the rover full of fuel driving around. So we'll keep, I think for now, we'll keep working on this proof of concept. And in the future, if we want to make a larger version of this somehow, we can. We still have some problems to solve, such as, okay, we can fill up that tank, assuming it's on the surface, but then how do we get all that fuel into orbit? We need some kind of lander that can land on the surface and still has the ability to be refueled, right? So maybe we land and then retract the landing struts, or maybe we don't use landing struts. Maybe we just land on our engines. If we build a craft that can do that, then we can get a port low enough to the ground, you know? Oh, well, okay, so I blew a wheel there, I think. Or what did I blow? I blew the docking port. I slammed it into the ramp there. Okay, let's revert back to the spaceplane hangar. But we have the general idea. I think I moved this up to 2, and then I think 1.5 is where I left it. Yeah, let's save that. We have the general idea. So now we gotta get the convertotron and the drill onto this thing, and I don't know what that's gonna look like. So if we go to payload, no, where would it be? Utility? All right, so here's the Drill-O-Matic mining excavator and the Drill-O-Matic Junior mining excavator. Probably for this build, we'll use the Junior. A smaller version of the popular Drill-O-Matic, this drill is designed to help extract valuable resources from the crust of planets and asteroids. Unlike its larger cousin, this smaller model is only suitable for ore concentrations in excess of 2.5%. I think that's okay. We saw something like 5 point... What did we see? We saw 5 something, I think. When operated by a skilled engineer, you'll be able to operate with better efficiency. These modules operate best at their ideal operating temperatures and feature auto shutdown in the event of excessive overheating. Radiators can be used to help manage the excessive heat. Okay. Asteroid drill. Asteroid use, 100% base efficiency, power consumption. Oh, it's very low, actually, the electric charge per second. Comet drill. Core heat, optimum temperature 500K, shutdown temperature 1000. Required cooling 50 kilowatts. Resource harvester, surface harvester. Planetary use, 30% base efficiency. More outputs, 0.3 per second. Okay. So if we were going to put a Drill-O-Matic Junior on this thing, I think we would put maybe 2 of them. Let's use symmetry here. So I don't know exactly how this works. Let's take a look. So we have deploy drill. Okay, so we want it facing a different way. Let's turn it... I can never figure out which way turns which here. All right, let's do something like this. Right? Okay. And then we're going to need the ore tanks as well to hold the ore. And we're going to need a place for the convertotron. So let's get some ore tanks. Those were called holding tanks, right? Small holding tank and radial holding tank. Where would those be so I can find them without searching? Are they in utility? Hold on. Illuminator. Convertotron. There's the convertotron in utility. Cargo? No. Science. Maybe under payload or coupling? Ground? It's got to be in utility, right? Where's the... maybe structural? I don't see the holding tank. Pods? Which section is this holding tank in? Let me catch up with the chat. If you have a stationary station, you can always produce fuel and have more drills. What if the rover breaks while you're driving and refueling? Your mission's over. That's true. Make a dedicated lander that shuttles fuel to and from the surface, then make the station tanks modular with their own pod with docking, so when they're full, you could send them to another station. I think you should build a stationary station without rovers, because if a rover breaks, your mission's over, like Radu said. The holding tank is on utility. Okay, so guys, this is very much a learning experience for me, and if this blows up and breaks, we can just build something else. So I think to start, I'm going to have this guy. And then once we kind of get a feel for how this works, we can build something else. We can maybe build a station like you guys are suggesting, a dedicated station that just stays in one place and mines ore with bigger drills and stuff. I don't know exactly how we would launch that. The other thing that I'm thinking about is this I know how to launch. Like this I can put on a lifter and launch into orbit and get it there. We would need some kind of lander as well, but this I can get there. Like a big station, I don't know how I would lift that. So you're saying it's in here. That's flag, spotlight, hitchhiker, navigation, parachute, light strip, ladder, illuminator, drill-o-matic, convertotron, and dome light. I do not see the holding tanks in here. We have them somewhere. So it's like a black cylinder. Oh, this is the everything. Yeah, see, there's one of them. Radial holding tank. Is it fuel tank? Oh, it's a fuel tank. That's what it is. Okay. That's much too large. So let's get a couple of these going. Again, remember, guys, this is not the end-all, be-all final solution. This is just me experimenting and learning how these systems work. So for now, we can start small, and we can get bigger when we want to. So we've got 2 holding tanks and 2 drills. That seems like a good start, right? The holding tank is on utility. The wheels are retractable. It's a tank. I need exit. Okay. So now we have the ability to drill up the ore, and now we need the convertotron. Right? We need the convertotron here. Yes. Okay. So I think we need to stick this on the back of the rover. I don't see another place to put it. Let's take a look at the Convertotron 125. A smaller version of Kerbodyne's mobile processing plant, this module can take raw materials containing even trace amounts of oxygen and hydrogen and crack them into useful fuel products. When operated by a skilled engineer, you'll be able to operate with better efficiency. While this smaller model is lighter than its bigger cousin, it is less efficient and not designed for long-term operations. These modules operate best. Blah, blah, blah. Radiators can be used to manage the excessive heat. Okay. A resource converter, liquid fuel plus ox. So it outputs both liquid fuel and oxidizer. Oh, and then there's another version that only produces liquid fuel, another version that only produces oxidizer, and another version that produces monopropellant. So you probably either it has modes, or you need to choose which variant you want. All right, let's stick that on the back. And we could move the wheels now. We probably need to move the wheels now. We could put some more tanks on, I suppose. Let's take a look. So start ISRU, LF plus ox, liquid fuel, ox, and monoprop. Okay. So you can kind of do whichever one you want. Now, it also said something about heating, so we're going to have to worry about that. Let's move the wheels around first, and let's try driving this thing. Move the wheels. Okay. I'm going to move you. We need to reattach you now. Okay. So that's going to be a thing. So let's move you back here and attach you here. Okay. And then we will move you down. Right? Are you now in line with the other wheels? I think so. I think that looks right. Okay. Let's take this off. And let's reattach this in the center. Kind of like... That does change the location for the center of mass for the inline stabilizer, but hopefully it's not too much. Let's see. Yeah, it is kind of a bit. But there's nothing I can do about it. I can move it a little bit closer. I can move it a little bit closer. Hold on. That's the opposite of what I want to do. Hold on. I want this to be further to the right. So take this off, then take this off, then take these off. Okay, there we go. That moves it a little bit closer to the right. I'm gonna have to redo the solar panels as well. That's the best I can do for that. Hopefully it's okay. It's still pretty wide and stable. Those look right. Okay. Let's fix our solar panels now. Oh, hold on. What's it doing? It's doing something with symmetry. And we could also throw some heat radiators on here, I suppose, on this part. Where's heat? Radiator panel large. Something like that, I guess, is fine. That'll radiate some heat while it's doing conversions. I hope that's okay. And then we can put more holding tanks on to get more ore. So one thing I don't know is how much fuel can one tank of ore produce? Do you want the larger ones here? No, they're too big. Let's stick with the small ones for now. So I think we'll throw a few of these on here like this. And we'll see what this gets us. So we fill these up with ore and then we convert them to fuel, right? Let's go give this a test. There's one other thing I want to put on here. So we've got plenty of ore holding. We've got our 2 drills, we've got our convertotron. We've got our driver, we've got our solar panel, and we've got SAS and electricity. The one other thing I want to put on here is the resource scanner thing. Where was that? Was that this? That's a space telescope. Surface scanning module. A small module that includes soil, atmospheric, and oceanic sampling tools. When used while landed on a planet or moon, sample data gathered can be used to increase the accuracy of orbital survey scanners. So if I wanted to throw one of these on here, it's a smallish part. We can just kind of go like this, I guess. Okay. Let's try this. Bill's ready to go. He's all loaded up. Oh, you know what we lost? We lost the SAS module, but maybe we don't need that. No, we do need that. We need that for the reaction wheel. So we got to move this somewhere. I guess we can just throw it right there. That's probably fine. If that... what's the mass on that? It's got to be tiny, right? Yeah, 0.005 tons, so 5 kilograms. I don't think that matters. And then let's put our little command and control thing back on here. There we go. That lets us use SAS to keep stability. And okay, let's try this guy. The spaceplane hangar can't support vessels. All right, we got to do an upgrade for the spaceplane hangar. The holding tank is on utility. The wheels are retractable. I also forget where it is. Good luck for you. Cooling is important. Put scanner on radiator. Okay, we might have to do that. Put the scanner on the radiator? Well, no, we don't want to cook the scanner. Okay, so we're just going to do some mining right here on the runway. So we can still drive around. We've still got the ability to kind of drive around and aim this thing. It's a little slow to turn. Let's test the brakes. It's got a lot of mass, so it's going to be slow to brake here. We can actually enable the braking group. Okay. So first of all, let's do a scan. Oh, that's the wrong instrument. Let's do an analysis. So ore, 2.5%. Ore on the surface, 2.5%. That is sufficient for these drills, right? So now let's deploy the drill. Did the other one deploy? No. Okay. So we could make action groups for some of this, but let's deploy the drill. And now start surface harvester. And start surface harvester. Okay. Let's actually use F11. Let's look at the temperature overlay. So we can see the core temperature is rising. Thermal efficiency is dropping. Surface harvester, 70% load. Ore rate, 0.00762 per second. So these are overheating now, right? That's a problem. We are generating ore, however. And it's evenly distributed between the tanks. That's interesting. So we need a better way to radiate heat away from these drill-o-matics because they're getting too hot and their thermal efficiency is dropping. Cooling is important. Yeah. More radiators. So the large radiator, let's see what this is. Activate radiator. Okay, what does that do? I can see that getting less. Yeah, it's like it's absorbing heat from the tank, I think, or from the convertotron, but not from these guys. Okay, let's go back to the spaceplane hangar, and let's look back in radiators here. So was there a small little radiator panel? Thermal control system. See, that's way too big. Yeah, that's enormous. Radiator panel small. This might be what we're looking for. An edge? No, not that. So I think we want the small one. What is this? Thermal control system small. So I don't seem to be able to attach it directly to this thing. But I could maybe attach it to... Oh. So heat should bleed from this into the fuel tank. And then if we radiate away from the fuel tank... like this? Maybe that'll help? And let's move that. Like that. Okay, so now hopefully heat from this thing bleeds into the fuel tank and then gets radiated away by these. Radiator has to be closer to the drill. How about radiators on the bottom? The radiator's too far away from the drill. The panels work on any distance. You'd think this radiator's too far away from the drill. Yeah, this one's on the convertotron. I like the idea about having it on the bottom. Hang on. So if we put it down there, although that's too low to the ground, actually. That's not going to work. That's going to get ripped off and destroyed. So let's go back to what I had here. This looked like it was going to work. That's right next to the drill. So heat from the drill seeps into this fuel tank and then gets radiated away. Let's try that. Okay, let's try this again. So we'll set our brakes. I will deploy both drills. We'll turn the radiators on. Activate radiator. Activate radiator. Cooling 16.56%. I don't really know what that means, but all right. Start surface harvester and start surface harvester. So is this working? Yeah, look at that. The core temperature is locked at 500K now. Thermal efficiency 100%. Surface harvester 80.76% load. So those are fantastic. Okay. And if I disable the radiators, then it starts going up. Yeah, because it's too far away from the other one. Activate radiator. That puts it at the perfect core temperature. Now, do these consume electric charge? Are we burning electricity here? Yeah, we are. Or is that the radiator or the drill? That's the drill, I think. So our solar panels are not getting a lot of sun exposure right now because the sun's low in the sky and we can't aim these. We might have to rethink our solar panel solution because this may not work. But the basic principles here are working. This rover is able to drill ore. Is the back radiator on? No, it is not at the moment because we're not using the convertotron. So it's interesting that you do get an ore. Oh, you can turn them all on like that. That's really interesting. So we have, what do we have? We have 8 total tanks. I wonder if that's too much. All right, so I'm going to do an experiment here. We're going to warp forward for quite a lot of time here until the ore is filled up. Okay. So now we've got 600 ore in our 8 fuel tanks. Let's stop harvesting. Stop surface harvester. And stop surface harvester. And now our electric charge is not dropping. So the radiators don't use electricity. They just use heat. Okay. Now, let's see 600 ore. How much oxidizer can that be turned into? So we've got capacity here for 360 liquid fuel with these two TL 400 tanks, right? FLT 400 fuel tank. So if we turn the convertotron on and start ISRU for liquid fuel and ox, then how much of these 2 tanks can it fill as it begins to drain through the ore? Oh, not a lot, it looks like. It looks like a 10-to-1 conversion ratio. And it's draining the electric charge as well. Core temperature. Oh, let's activate this radiator. Slowly, yeah, it's radiating fuel. Okay, thermal efficiency at 99%. Liquid fuel plus ox. So we're going to burn through our electric charge here, but let's see, 600. What percentage of our thing does that get us? Let's warp forward a little bit. So we got to wait for the daylight to charge us up. Okay. So the 8 tanks, the 600 ore got us to 54 out of 360. So 54 out of 360 is what? 54 divided by 360 is 15%. Okay, so we've got 15% of the ore that we need, or ore holding that we need. So 54 times 15. No, that's not right. 15%. Clear. So 1 divided by 15. I'm doing the math wrong. 360 divided by 54 is 6.666. So we would need 6 times as many ore tanks to be able to completely, 6 2/3, to be able to completely fill the thing. So 6.66 times 8. We would need like 53 of those radial ore tanks, or 52, to basically fill this up. 6-to-1, process while drilling, see how long to fill. Process while drilling while docked. Oh, okay. Don't know what to chat about, just watching from the background. That's okay, Radu. I'm just glad you're here, man. So if we turn everything on at the same time, that's an interesting idea. So I think the convertotron goes a lot faster than the drills can process. So you're talking about if we have everything turned on, we just use these tanks as more of a buffer. And then maybe, it's an interesting idea. Let's turn these back on. And we'll leave this on as well. Let's turn the radiators on. The radiators were already on. Okay. So now, excuse me. Now, as long as we have charge, which is, it's admittedly, it's going to take quite a lot of charge here. It's got a 0.52% load because the drills are not supplying enough ore, really. But yeah, okay, so now while this is on, we wouldn't really need these ore tanks. We would need more drills, essentially. Yeah, let's get some warp going here. So yeah, you guys are right. If we just leave it running, it slowly fills up. So that's 3 days, 4 days, 5 days. So yeah, this would work. So in a couple of weeks of running nonstop, it would fill up. So we don't even really need the ore tanks. Okay. I'm starting to see some possibilities here. We would need at least one ore tank, right? Because there has to be a buffer to transfer through. But what we really need is more drills and more solar power here. Remove some ore tanks and replace with drills. Maybe find a place with more ore density. Yeah. One ore tank is enough, says Larry. Yeah, okay. So I think the idea is we'll just have, well, I mean, we'll keep it radial because that's I think, a good solution for balancing this thing. We'll just have 2 ore tanks and we'll have like maybe 6 drills. But that's going to burn through a lot of electricity, so we're going to need a new solar panel solution. So let's revert our flight back to the spaceplane hangar here. Let's come in and get rid of some of these ore tanks. And let's put some more drills on. Okay, so let's go back to utility here. Now, we can't fit the drill-o-matic, the big boy. We can't do that. That's not going to work. But we can put a few more of these. And then we're going to need more radiator panels as well, though, right? So the question is, how much can we get away with these radiator panels? Let's do something like that. And then we'll place another radiator panel. Or I guess we can test it. Yeah, we can kind of test it and see how it does with the ones that we're giving it. So let's use 3 on each side. Let's use 6 like that. And let's see how that works. Also, I want a better solar panel solution. And we might be able to put some radiators here, actually. Yeah, let's do something like this instead. And then for electricity, I think we get a couple of these bad boys. Because what did we have? We had 5 of these. These are 2.8 per second. These are 8.3 per second. Let me turn off symmetry here. So let's try something like this. Right? So we get this to the surface and then we deploy these. And they track the sun. Oh, are they going to that's going to shade, they're going to shade each other, so that won't work. Let's move this one further back here. Like that. And then hopefully they can both get a good deal of, because they turn and track, right? So hopefully they're both able to get a good amount. Let's retract that. Retract that. All right, let's try with these 6 drills. Let's see how this does. Add the extendable solar panel. You need ore tanks for a submarine. Action group the drills and the converter. Panel, drill, panel, drill. It tells you how much cooling it needs. Oh, it does. You're right. So if we look at the part under utility, Required cooling 50 kilowatts. Okay, and then if we look at the radiator that we put on there, we use this one. This says max cooling 1,043 kilowatts. Core heat transfer 50. Transfer rate 10%. Cools up to 4x part temp. Cools only nearby parts. Okay, so it has enough cooling. The question is whether we can transfer enough heat while these things are running fast enough for this radiator to do the work that it needs. But we've got six drills instead of 2. So yeah, let's somebody else said something about action groups. That's not a bad idea. Let's do deploy drill into custom 1. So we'll deploy all the drills. Nope, I did that wrong. Deploy drill and deploy drill. Okay, so action group 1 deploys the drills. Action group 2 will start, I guess, surface harvester. Start surface harvester. Start service harvester. And we'll activate the radiators. Right? And then custom 3, we can shut down the radiators and retract the drills. There we go. That looks good. Okay. 50 heat transfer. Yeah, so it needs 50. Each one of the drills needs 50K of cooling, but they don't generate more than 50K per second. They generate like 2 or 3K per second. So the transfer rate should be okay here. All right, let's test our action group. So deploy all the drills, activate them. And this is now on, yep. And then retract the drills and shut down the radiators. Okay, so everything worked. Let's deploy our solar panels. And let's start mining. Oh, we also need to turn on the convertotron as well. Activate that radiator. So I should add that to the action groups, really. And then start ISRU for liquid fuel and oxygen. Okay, let's bring up our... Yeah, so this one's being shaded by the other one. So this one has 98 exposure. This one has 0 because it's blocked. But during the day, during most of the day, they should both be running. All right, so let's just speed up time and see how we do. You know what I forgot to do? I forgot to turn on the convertotron. No, I did turn it on. Start surface harvester. Did I not hit 2? I didn't hit 2. Okay. So that's draining a lot of charge. Let's try this again. Okay, so while the sun is up, the solar panels are working. We're slowly seeing the conversion happening. So that's 4 days, 5 days, 6 days, 7 days, 8 days, and at 9 days we're done. Okay. So can we come up with a better solution for the solar panels here? Maybe these circular ones are not the right ones, or maybe I only need one. I'm not sure. Did you forget actions for the converter, drilling and temperature? Yeah, I forgot the actions for the converter. Yeah, we should check. Let's go back to the spaceplane hangar here. So 11 days. Well, I kind of screwed that up. I wonder if just one of these is enough, because one is being kind of shaded most of the time. If we look at the utility here, the draw here is 0.3 per second. That's not that much. So between the 6 of them, that would be 1.8. And then on the Convertomatic, the draw is... Where's the electric? Does it tell me here? Electric charge, 30 per second. Yeah, so that's the big expense right there. I'll check the drill temperatures. If you turn sideways to the sun... Oh, yeah. Larry, I don't think you're correct about saying you will need 50 heat exfer for each drill, because And we can test this. But let's fix up our action groups. So custom 1, wait a minute. Custom 1 is deploying the drills. Custom 2 turns everything on. So we'll add this radiator, and we'll add the convertotron, start ISRU LF plus aux. And then for custom 3, where we shut everything down and retract it, we will also shut down the radiator and shut down stop ISRU. Okay. So we'll check, but let's take a look. So I like the idea of turning sideways to the sun. That's a good idea. The turning authority is pretty low here. I could turn it up. I can't really steer backwards. I can, like, the turning doesn't really work. Only when I'm going forwards. But we'll turn sideways here. Ever so slightly. Actually, in the spaceplane hangar, I could rotate it. I probably should, but... Okay. So now we're facing... We want to be facing north. Okay. There we go. Now we're on a 0-degree heading. All right, let's brake. And then we deploy our solar panels. And I'm going to hit 1 to deploy the drills, 2 to start everything up. So now you should be... Yeah, you're going. Okay. Core temperature. Radiators on. And then if we look at these drills... Oh, maybe Larry was right. I guess I was wrong. Is this activated? This is activated. Okay, it looks like I was wrong. So they're generating more heat than can be transferred to the radiators. They're generating too much heat too fast. This one's at like 651. Is that not close enough? Okay, so we need more radiators for the drills. So does that mean we need one radiator panel for each drill? Well, we have space on the rover. We can still get away with this. Larry, I apologize. You were correct. My thinking was, right, if this is only raising... See how it's not raising that fast? It's raising by like 1 per second. I sort of thought the transfer would be able to get in here. Like, if these are generating combined 5 per second, or 10 per second even, that's under the 50, the 50 transfer thing that this thing had. But it seems I was incorrect. All right, so we need more radiators. The drills will drill anyway, just slower. Larry Kerman died on the first flight. Panel drill, panel drill. Yeah, okay. Let's revert flight back to the space plane hangar. You know what else I'm going to do? I'm going to add one more action group here. I'm going to add... the first time we deploy the drills, we're going to also deploy the solar panels. Extend solar panel and extend solar panel. There we go. Save that. Let's come down here and fix our drills. Oh, you know what? I'm going to have to move these. But hopefully that's okay. Hopefully they stay in the action group. Let's go get another one of these. And one more over here. Okay. We lost We lost symmetry somehow. Why is it suddenly being obnoxious? Oh, it's because I'm trying to put it on the radiator. Hold on. All right, we're going to have to redo our action groups, folks. I screwed up. Okay, utility. Okay, so there's our 3 drills. And then we place our 3 radiators. Like that, and like that. Let's center you. Center, I said. Okay, that looks good. So now we've got our 6 drills set up. Let's fix our action groups. So we got to go back here. So this one is extend the solar panels and extend solar panels and deploy drills. So we're going to add deploy drill and deploy drill. There we go. Custom 2 is start surface harvesting. Start the ISRU, activate the radiator panels. Okay. So we need to do start surface harvesting and start surface harvesting and activate radiator and activate radiator. There we go. I think that's everything. And then for 3, we've got shut down the radiators and retract the drills. Okay, so retract, retract, shut down, shut down. I don't know why we would ever want to shut down the radiators. If they don't draw electric charge, it doesn't seem like it matters that much, but whatever, that's fine. And then, finally, we want to pick up the whole vessel and turn it sideways. There we go. I think I will give just a little bit more response on the wheels here, just a skosh. We just have to remember to be a little bit careful when we're driving it. Something like that seems fine. Okay, let's launch this and try it again. Radiators have to be attached to the same part as the drill. Alt-click duplicates the part, duplicates the actions too. Missing a front radiator? Are we? So 1, that deploys all the drills. So that action group looks right. Deployed all 3 drills. 2 starts our harvesting operation. So we've got 3 drills drilling and 3 drills drilling over here. I'm missing a radiator. That's what you meant. Okay, let's revert the flight. Damn it. How did that happen? That looks fine. Check our action groups. Custom 01. No, custom 02 is not in there. Let's deselect that and let's just see. Radiator panel activate, radiator panel activate, radiator panel activate. Okay, so the symmetry did copy over there. So we're good there. Okay. This is starting to look like an actual thing. Okay. Once more onto the breach. Let's lock the brakes in place. 1. Is that like carving through his head here? A little bit. Yeah, just barely. And then 2, we start our operation. And we can see we're producing oxidizer and liquid fuel. So we've got 3 and 3 running. Okay. Now, even with both of these solar panels, we're losing charge here. Sun exposure 0.98. Energy flow. Maybe the energy flow is low because it's late afternoon. This number is dropping. Maybe during the day it would be whatever. Let's check our heat. How are we doing for heat? 500, 500, 500. Okay, so this one's getting hotter. So why is this one getting hotter? It's closer to this guy. That's why. The convertotron is generating a lot of heat, and this radiator's keeping it cool. But this one over here, I think, is too close to it, so this panel is not enough. We should move it more forward if we can. All right, that's something to think about. Let's see what the maximum temperature is. Let's speed time up a little bit. So its efficiency, does it peak out? Insufficient power shutting down. Okay. Yeah, let's get through to the morning. Insufficient power. Does it never start up again? Does it not resume at a certain point? Last time it went once it powered up. Okay, so I've hit 2 to get everything going. Let me just put it into time warp here. Yeah, see, it does keep going. I'm not sure what happened there. Let's see how long it takes to fill up the tank. Let's kind of come take a look here as well. This is operating okay. This is operating fine. This one's operating at 100%. This one's too cold, actually, apparently. Or rate NA. This is inactive. So something happened to shut this down, and it didn't start up again. The front one as well. So only these two are running. Let's start surface harvester. Did I maybe miss it in my action group? No, all 3 of these were running. Let's zoom forward another day and see if they shut off. Yeah, these front ones are shutting down and they're not restarting. I'm not sure why. Have enough energy, more batteries. Any way to shut down at dusk and start up at dawn? When it shuts down, you have to restart it manually. Okay. We'll pretend he ducks. Temperature. Okay, so I see what you guys are saying. When it shuts down, you have to restart it manually. So we can't afford to have it shut down. We need enough power storage and power generation. So let's see. If I go forward to dawn, our charge goes down to 0. And then everything shuts down. And then very quickly it comes back. But now they're not starting up again. I don't know how they kept going. All right, so we have enough energy generation. We need more batteries. So if we look at this... We need more batteries. Yeah, that's the key. So we need enough batteries that it can run through the night, essentially. Now, maybe we remove 2 of these. Maybe we only need 4 drills. Because, I mean, 10 days is not that long to fill this thing up. That's 40 days to fill one of the Rockomax tanks. That's what we saw. Let's revert flight to spaceplane hangar. Okay. So we need more batteries. We need more power. I think we can do it. Let's just... It'll get expensive, but let's just throw a bunch more batteries on here. So let's see what something like this does. We're getting a little unwieldy here, but hey, this is Kerbal Space Program, man. That gives us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,000 charge. Is that enough? Who knows? Let's see. Stack a bunch of batteries, use the transform tool, and push them into the vessel. Oh, that's an interesting idea. Okay. Let's see what happens here. So we've got 8,000 charge now. Let's turn everything on. It drains very quickly. I don't know if 8,000 is going to be enough. Let's go to 10x time here. Maybe 50x time. So as the day winds down, yeah, 8,000 is not going to be enough. I mean, I don't know how much would be enough. 100,000? There's no way we can do this. So everything shuts down. That's the problem. So the alternative is we control it ourselves. We use action groups and we control it ourselves. Because if we come back to the morning now, as soon as we're charged up, we're fine. But then we don't need all these batteries then if we have to manually kind of control things. The other thing is, it didn't shut down when we were like doing super warp. So maybe if you're kind of off the surface and not paying attention, or you're, you know, in the map view and warping really fast, maybe it just kind of skips over that check. Okay, so now if I hit 2 and everything starts up again, once we get into the middle of the day, are these solar panels enough? Oh, what's happening with overheating here? Hold on. We're generating quite a lot of heat. Everything is on. All the radiators are on, but these are, well, that's 500K. What is getting all the heat? The wheels? The wheels are about to explode? Okay, well, that's not great. Why did that happen? Thermal efficiency. It's 900 hotter than it should be. Remove 2 drills, slap more panels. A tank and a tank and a tank. I did the same thing sending a ship to orbit with rave lights running into the issue of needing power to keep the lights going. Okay. Remove 2 drills and slap more panels. Yeah, I think you're probably right. I think we don't need all these drills. Probably even 1 set would be enough. It's not like we don't have time to spare, right? Let's not worry too much about like trying to do this as fast as possible with all these drills. We can spend 2 weeks mining ore and do a trip and then spend 2 more weeks mining ore. That's fine. Hold on. Okay, 2 should be enough. 2 should be enough, and then we can get rid of these. Okay, so that's really all we need. We don't need too much more than that. That should be fine. We can throw... Wait a minute, where's our... We can throw another radiator panel on here somewhere. If we move the tanks now, actually, we can move the ore tanks here, and then we can have this be twinned. That should help out. And then we actually want to move these up to the front. Like that. And like that. Right? Keep the sources of heat away from each other. This needs to be twinned. Okay. So maybe this is closer to our final build here. Do we need to check our action groups? Actually, let's rotate these just a bit so they're aiming the heat away from the wheels. Maybe a little bit more. That looks good. Get rid of tanks, no need. Needs to be pointier. You are drilling and processing. I think you still need a buffer. Well, you know what? Let's try it. Let's see, Michael. Let's see if you actually even need the tanks if you're doing everything at the same time. Let's check our action groups here. So, action group 1 is to deploy the drills and extend the solar panels. That's still in place. Okay. Action group 2 starts the convertotron, starts surface harvesting, starts radiator panels, and starts radiator panels. That looks good. Action group 3 stops drilling, retracts the drills, shuts down the small panel, shuts down the large panel. Okay. This looks good. We'll see whether we need the holding tanks at all. We need to crew it. Bill, get in there. If you do need a tank, one should suffice, or it won't even work. You need one tank or it won't work. Okay, so it can't... Well, let's test it. Yeah, it looks like we need at least one tank here. It's inactive. It's missing ore. Yeah, okay. So we do only need the one tank. That's fine. If we go to... Oh, now where was it? It was in fuel tanks. Yeah, here we go. So we can just pop one up on here. Like that. That should be sufficient. Okay. Save that, launch that. Okay. Processing ore. And generating liquid fuel. So, let's see what happens if we launch forward here. So as the day wanes and our electric charge starts to fall, are we going to make it through the night? No, we're not. So insufficient power shutting down. Okay. But if we go high enough time warp, it kind of skips past that. It kind of glitches past it. Okay. So let's resume operation here. And now let's zoom way out and let's go 1,000 time here, 10,000 time. So it is a much slower process. It's like it can't figure out that we're draining it fast enough to do the shutdown, but that's okay. I'm okay with that. Now it is much slower. So to completely fill the rover, it's going to take what, 2 weeks here? Let's see. No has arrived. Welcome to the channel. Why is all your UI so big? This UI is really big. Is that a phone? Hold on. I went too far. So we did finish up the fuel. And does it tell us how long? Why doesn't it tell us our how long it took? Day 143. Revert to spaceplane hangar. Oh, it was right there. Hang on. I need to do this again. I want to launch this one more time. Why is all your UI so big? So Noah asked the question. I'm playing on a gaming laptop. This is a ROG Strix 2023 model or 2022 model. I forget the exact model number. But if you go into the settings and go down to UI, I have my UI scale at 170, so it's easier for me to see. If I reset it back to 100, everything is like really, really, really tiny. It's hard to see even for me, and I'm sitting in front of the laptop. So people who are watching on YouTube really, really couldn't see much of anything. So that's why I keep the UI so large. I hope that answers your question. Let's put this back. Okay. Let's do this one more time. I want to see exactly how long it takes to get a full load of oxidizers. So let's deploy everything, and we'll turn it on. And then we'll go into time warp here, and we'll see how long it takes to get a full rover's worth. I do like that if you go fast enough, it skips over that shutdown problem. I like that. And done. Okay. So if we revert, we can see, yeah, it takes about 2 weeks for this rover with just the two drills. It takes about 2 weeks or 14 days for it to completely fill up on oxidizer and liquid fuel. But there's a couple things we could do about that, right? We could theoretically add one more pair of drills and do the same thing. And then during daylight hours, these are enough. So we could add one more pair of drills back, and that would cut down the time a bit. Also, assuming we build a successful launch vehicle, we could, hire a couple more engineers and have 3 or 4 of these guys tootling around on the surface, all working in unison at the same time. So, for example, if we had 4 of these, we saw that it would, given the amount of liquid fuel and oxidizer that it contains, 4 of these would fill up one Rocco Max 16. So there's more work to do, but I feel like the basic proof of concept here is good. We've now got, yeah, these need more angle when they're full. There we go, that's better. So these would be kind of deployed to the surface, and the engineers would have to receive training and be told, do not flip the rovers because they're very expensive and they're hard to get back here if you break one. Oh, I can turn SAS on as well. But we could get, let's say we manage to get 4 of these down onto Minimus, right? They can be running around mining fuel. And we don't even really need that because the reality is spending a month or 2 months to load up a fuel tank is fine. But we could do it. We could get 4 of these to Minimus. And then we'd have a surface station, and every 2 weeks, they kind of load up one of these fuel tanks and it launches up to orbit somehow, right? And then it refills the station, and then ships that are coming by can kind of, I don't know. That's the idea. One thing that would be really cool for this game would be if you could do somehow record a run, right? You record a series of procedures where you're like, okay, I guess it would never work because every launch is slightly different. Every landing is slightly different. You can't really automate it. What I was thinking is it'd be really cool if you could have a way to automate it, right? Where you kind of like assign a rover and a Kerbal together and you're like, okay, you go out, you spend 2 weeks mining, you come back, you connect here, you transfer the fuel, and then you go rinse and repeat. And you just do that forever. That'd be kind of a cool, neat thing to do. But, okay, so guys, I know a lot of you were saying, like, well, you shouldn't do this. You should build a big surface station. You could do this. You could do that. This is dinky, what have you. For me, I learned so much today, not just about like how the mining stuff works, but about building rovers, about the holding tanks, the ore converter, kind of playing around with solar panels. Just Michael's tip to turn the thing to the left so they weren't shading each other. That was like mind blown. And a revolution there. Yeah, the driving it, the wheels take up energy as well. So we might want to throw 1 or 2 more batteries on here just so that if they, or no, you know what? It's just the manual, the regulations for engineers at our mining station are going to be only drive during the day when the solar panels are charging energy, and don't flip the rover, right? Anyway, I learned a lot today. I'm really pleased with how far we got. We've got basically a functional mining rover here that can produce, a good chunk of liquid fuel and oxidizer for us. If we can get this, and it's small enough that I'm confident I can put this into a fairing and launch this and get it to Minimus. So I can get 3 or 4 of them to Minimus, for example. So I'm confident that we're going to be able to get this there. And this is a good starting point for me. I feel happy with this build. So the next stream we're going to work on Wednesday. The next stream is Wednesday morning. We're going to build a station that will land on the surface and stay put. And these rovers are going to drive around. They're going to connect up to the station and fill it up. And then the station's going to have a way, it's going to also have a launch vehicle on top of it, which will also dock. And the launch vehicle will be able to lift into orbit, refuel a ship, come back, and then the really hard part is going to be landing it and figuring out how to redock it. So we might end up having a ship. We might need to build a space plane, something that can land on wheels, so that we can taxi around on the surface of Minimus, dock, and then launch into Minimus orbit to dock with something else and refuel it. So actually, that's almost certainly what we're going to need to do. We're going to need to build our first space plane so that we can land on Minimus on the flats on wheels, taxi around and dock, refuel, take all that fuel up to orbit, and transfer it to another vessel. So probably what we're going to work on next time is our first space plane. And we'll figure out how to build that so that we can do that. And then the last thing we're going to have to figure out is how to build the station. The station is going to be really simple, I think. It's just going to be like basically a giant fuel tank with docking ports. But the question is going to be, how do we land it? How do we launch it? And how do we land it on the surface of Minimus? So those are the next challenges. That's going to be it for today's stream. Thank you so much, everybody who was here. Michael Linsenmeyer, Larry Nett, Bob Schwan, Hepoilu was here. Man, saying his name is not easy. Captain Riker stopped by for the first time. The Seal Shark Productions came back. Who else was here? Was Pandy in here briefly? I can't remember. He's usually around. Anyway, everybody, thank you so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed today's stream. I appreciate your advice and comments. We managed to build a pretty neat little mining rig here. I'm pretty happy with it. And like I said, when we come back on Wednesday, we'll be working on that space plane. So look forward to that, and I hope to see you there. Take care, everybody. Have a great rest of your Monday. We'll see you next time.